Chapter 7 Integrals. Now, what is the notation of integration? The notation of integration is S, and it stands for summation, and summation fx dx is the notation for integration. We read it out as integration of fx dx. The integration of fx with respect to dx is denoted as capital Fx plus c. Now in integration, whenever we integrate any function, the constant c, which is an arbitrary constant, is always to be added. It is considered to be indefinite integration because the value of c is not definite or specific. Hence, when c is written in integration, it is considered as indefinite integration. And the function f is integrated with respect to x. Integration is also considered as antiderivative. It is just the opposite of derivatives. So we call it as antiderivatives. Now, for solving the examples related to integration, we should know some standard integrations, which is again based on the derivatives. Beginning with derivatives, and the other side all the integrals are written, integrals or antiderivatives are taken up. If we take d by dx of x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1, the derivative of this function, we get x raised to n. Then if we remove d by dx from this side, the other side will become integration. So integration of x raised to n dx becomes x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. In derivative, we used to subtract the power. Here it will be, the power will be added. So x raised to n integration becomes x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1 plus c. This c is to be always added with almost all the integrations because it is indefinite integration. In derivatives, all the constants, derivative used to be 0. So we used to remove the constants, and in integration just opposite to derivative we have to do. Therefore, we add the constants. d by dx of x is 1. So integration of 1 that is dx will be equal to x plus c. In integration, dx will be always multiplied. In differentiation, dx is always divided. So just opposite to derivative, it takes place in integration. d by dx of sin x is cos x. Therefore, integration of cos x dx becomes sin x. d by dx of cos x is minus sin x. So integration of sin x becomes minus cos x. These are all the standard integrations. This side are all the standard derivatives. d by dx of tan x is equal to sec square x. Therefore, integration of sec square x becomes tan x. d by dx of minus cot x is cosec square x. So integration of cosec square x becomes minus cot x. d by dx of sec x is sec x tan x. So integration of sec x tan x becomes sec x. d by dx of minus cosec x is cosec x cot x. So integration of cosec x cot x dx becomes minus cosec x plus c. So here the comparison of derivatives and the integration is being done. So just opposite of the derivative, the integration will be there. Eighth one is d by dx of sine inverse x is equal to 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So taking the integration of 1 upon root of 1 minus x square, it becomes sine inverse x. D by dx of minus cos inverse x is equal to 1 upon root of 1 minus x square. So integration of 1 upon root of 1 minus x square is minus cos inverse x. D by dx of tan inverse x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. The integration of 1 upon 1 plus x square will be equal to tan inverse x. D by dx of minus cot inverse x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. So taking up the integration of 1 upon 1 plus x square will be minus cot inverse x, and here both of them, they are the same integration. Depending upon the example, we will take tan inverse or minus cot inverse. Same for sine inverse and cos inverse. The integration part is same. So according to the example, we take sine inverse or minus cos inverse. Now d by dx of sec inverse x is 1 upon x root of x square minus 1. So integration of 1 upon x root of x square minus 1 is sec inverse x. Now the next one is d by dx of minus cosec inverse x is 1 upon x under root of x square minus 1. So integration of 1 upon x under root x square minus 1 is minus cosec inverse x. Now derivative of e raised to x is e raised to x. Therefore the integration of e raised to x will be e raised to x only. D by dx of log x is 1 by x. So integration of 1 by x will be log x. D by dx of a raised to x log a divided by log a is equal to a raised to x. So integration of a raised to x will be a raised to x upon log a plus c. Here the integration will be also having the base as e. So the derivative of log exists if base is e. Hence for log a also the base is e over here. So this is how total 16 standard integration is being taken up before exercise 7.1. So exercise 7.1 is based on all these 16 standard integrations. Properties of indefinite integral. It is again a kind of working rule also. If we have to take integration of two functions which are added, that is integration of fx plus gx dx, then we can separately integrate both the functions as integration of fx dx plus integration of gx dx. Second one is integration of fx minus gx dx. We can again separately take integration of both function as integration of fx dx minus integration of gx dx. Integration of k fx dx, k is a constant. So integrating only fx, we take it out k outside, which is a constant, only of the function or the term having x is integrated. So these are three working rules of indefinite integrals which when needed is to be used. Exercise 7.1, find an antiderivative, that is integral of the following function by the method of inspection. Now to calculate sin 2x integration, we'll calculate the derivative part of that. That is, sin 2x is having the derivative as 2 cos 2x. So cos, taking up d by dx of minus cos 2x. Why negative is taken for cos? The reason is the integration of sine is negative. So if we take d by dx of minus cos 2x, that will be 2 sin 2x. Taking 2 the other side, we get 1 upon 2 d by dx of minus cos 2x equal to sin 2x. So sin 2x will be equal to d by dx of minus half cos 2x. So the antiderivative of sin 2x, antiderivative means integration of sin 2x is minus 1 upon 2 cos 2x. But in the method of inspection, with the derivative, using the derivative only, the integration is being taken up. Now cos 3x, the derivative of cos 3x is 3 sin minus 3 sin 3x. But in the integration, as cos integration is positive, so it is written as d by dx of sin 3x. That gives you, if you take out the derivative of sin 3x, it becomes 3 cos 3x. So taking 3 the other side, we get 1 by 3 d by dx of sin 3x, that is equal to cos 3x. So cos 3x integration is d by dx of 1 by 3 sin 3x. So antiderivative of cos 3x becomes 1 by 3 sin 3x. Third one is e raised to 2x. Now to bring this side e raised to 2x, the derivative of e raised to 2x is e raised to 2x, and 2x derivative becomes 2. So we get d by dx of e raised to 2x as 2 e raised to 2x. To bring this side e raised to 2x, 2 is being shifted the other side. So we get here 1 by 2 d by dx of e raised to 2x. So e raised to 2x is equal to d by dx of 1 by 2 e raised to 2x. So antiderivative of e raised to 2x becomes 1 upon 2 e raised to 2x. Question number 4th. Given is ax plus b whole square. Now taking up the derivative of ax plus b whole cube, we get 3a ax plus b whole square. So as the power is 2, we need to take the derivative of 3. So the derivative of 3 gives 2. And using the chain rule of the derivative, first is a derivative of 3 power, that gives 3ax plus b whole square, and then the derivative of ax plus b gives a. So we get here d by dx derivative ax plus b whole cube as 3a ax plus b whole square. Shifting 3a the other side, we get it here 1 upon 3a d by dx of ax plus b whole cube, and that is equal to ax plus b whole square. So ax plus b whole square's antiderivative is 1 upon 3a ax plus b whole cube. Now question number 5 is sine 2x minus 4 e raised to 3x. Now taking out the derivative of minus 1 upon 2 cos 2x minus 4 by 3 e raised to 3x, cos 2x derivative is minus sine 2x into 2. So if we want sine 2x, we have to take the derivative of minus cos 2x. Now as 2 is not there with sine, so we have to divide it by 2 over here. Same thing, e raised to 3x derivative if we want, we have to take it e raised to 3x only, but the coefficient of x which gets multiplied in derivative, we have to divide here 3. So if we are taking out the derivative of minus 1 upon 2 cos 2x, we get sine 2x, and the derivative of 4 by 3 e raised to 3x is 3 e raised to 3x. So 3 and 3 gets cancelled and we will get minus 4 e raised to 3x. So this is the adjustment is being done to get the question. So this whole thing becomes the antiderivative of sine 2x minus 4 e raised to 3x. Now from question number 6 onwards, we have to calculate the direct integration using the standard integrations. Sixth one is I integration. We take I for marking the integration is equal to integration of 4 e raised to 3x plus 1 dx. Now as per the working rule, we can separately take the integration. So integration is being separated and dx is always being multiplied in integration. So we get 4 e raised to 3x dx plus integration of dx. 4 is a constant which is taken out of integration. Integration of e raised to 3x dx plus integration of dx. Integration of e raised to 3x is e raised to 3x. The coefficient of x in integration is divided. So this 3 is divided here as the coefficient of x. Integration of 1 is x. So the final answer we get 4 by 3 e raised to 3x plus x, and plus c is to be always added as it is an indefinite integration. So c is an arbitrary constant which is always to be added in integration. Seventh one is I is equal to integration x square, inside the bracket is 1 minus 1 upon x square dx. Now if we separate the brackets, Then taking up the integration becomes more easy by using the working rule. So multiplying x square with both, we get x square minus 1 dx. So taking integration with x square and integration with 1, x square integration is x raised to 2 plus 1 upon 2 plus 1, that makes it x raised to 3 upon 3, and integration of 1 is x, so we get I is equal to x cube upon 3 minus x plus c. Eighth one, I is integration ax square plus bx plus c dx. Now a, b and c are constants. So constant is taken out of the integration and each of the term is being taken separately integration. So integration of x square dx plus b integration of x dx plus c integration of dx. The constants are written out of the integration sign. Now x square integration becomes x cube by 3 using the formula of x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. And here the power of x is 1, so x raised to 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 gives bx square by 2. Integration of 1 is x and plus c dash, because already c is being taken in the example, so arbitrary constant we will add here as c dash, so it is different from c. Taking up the ninth one, it is given as I is equal to integration 2x square plus e raised to x dx. So 2 is a constant which is kept out of integration. Integration of x square dx plus integration of e raised to x dx. The more you separate the bracket, it can be easily integrated. So x square integration is x cube by 3, 2 remains as it is. Integration of e raised to x is e raised to x, and plus c is an arbitrary constant that is always to be added. 10th one is I is equal to integration root x minus 1 by root x whole square dx. Now expanding it by using a minus b whole square formula, we get integration root x square minus 2 root x into 1 by root x plus 1 upon root x whole square dx. Now root x and square makes it x. Root x and root x gets cancelled, so only 2 remains. And 1 upon root x square makes it 1 upon x. Now separately integrating all the terms, as per the working rule, we can separately take the integration if addition and subtractions are there. Then integration of x becomes x square by 2, that is 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 minus integration of 1 is x and integration of 1 upon x is log x, and plus c is to be always written. 11th one, it's given as I integration of x cube plus 5x square minus 4 divided by x square dx. Now here there is no division rule as per what we have studied in differentiation. So here the best one is separately dividing each of the term with x square. The more we separate the terms, the more easily it can be integrated. So dividing separately each term by x square, we get x cube upon x square dx minus 5 integration of x square upon x square dx minus 4 integration of dx upon x square. Cancellation gives only x square and x square gets cancelled, so 1, and 1 upon x square is expressed as x raised to minus 2. Now the integration of x becomes x square by 2, that is 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. Integration of 1 is x minus 4. Integrating x raised to minus 2 as minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1 and plus c. After we integrate, then only the plus c is to be added. Before that, when the sign of integration is there, at that time c is not to be added. Now operating this term, minus 2 plus 1 gives x raised to minus 1 upon minus 1. Minus and minus makes it plus. X raised to minus 1 is 1 upon x. So the final integration we get it as x square upon 2 minus 5x plus 4 by x plus c. So this is the integration of the term, and we are not supposed to use here any rule of division, as there is no division rule, particular division rule for integration. Question number 12 is I is equal to integration x cube plus 3x plus 4 divided by root x dx. We will separately divide each of the term by root x. So root x can be expressed as x raised to 1 by 2. Then dividing each of the terms with x raised to 1 by 2. As the base are same, the powers are subtracted. So for the first term it will become 3 minus 1 by 2. For the second one it becomes 1 minus 1 by 2. And for the third term it becomes x raised to minus 1 by 2. Taking the LCM and calculating, the power will become x raised to 5 by 2. Here also taking LCM and calculating, power becomes 1 by 2. Here x raised to minus 1 by 2 remains. Now integrating each of these terms by using the formula n plus 1 upon n plus 1 for each one. We get the first as x raised to 5 by 2 plus 1 divided by 5 by 2 plus 1 plus 3 is as it is. X raised to half means x raised to half plus 1 upon half plus 1 plus 4 is as it is. X raised to minus half plus 1 upon minus half plus 1 plus c. Taking the LCM and solving, 5 by 2 plus 1 gives 7 by 2, both in the power as well as in the denominator. In the second term it gives x raised to 3 by 2 after LCM divided by 3 by 2. And for the third term it makes x raised to half upon half plus c. Now 7 by 2 goes up and 7 remains down. So it becomes 2x raised to 7 by 2 divided by 7. 3 and 3 gets cancelled. 2 goes up. So it becomes 2x raised to 3 by 2. 2 multiplied by 4 becomes 8x raised to half plus c. So this is a simplified form of the final answer. 13th one is I is equal to integration x cube minus x square plus x minus 1 divided by x minus 1 dx. As I have already told you, there is no division rule. So to remove x minus 1 from the denominator, we will try to factorize the numerator. So taking the first two terms and taking out x square, we get x minus 1, and from the last two terms taking out 1, we get x minus 1 divided by x minus 1 dx. Now factorizing the numerator, we get x minus 1 into x square plus 1 divided by x minus 1. Cancelling x minus 1, the only part remains to be integrated is x square plus 1. So integration of x square plus integration of 1. Integration of x square becomes x cube by 3. Integration of 1 is x plus c. So this is the final integration. 14th is I is equal to integration 1 minus x root x dx. Now again here there is no multiplication rule in integration. So we have to multiply root x with both 1 and x. So multiplying root x with 1, we get root x. Multiplying x and root x, we get x root x. Root x expressing in power is half, and x and root x combining them with the power becomes 1 plus 1 by 2. That makes it x raised to 3 by 2 dx. So now it has got converted into standard integrations as the power integration of x raised to half becomes half plus 1 divided by half plus 1 minus x raised to 3 by 2 plus 1 divided by 3 by 2 plus 1 plus c. Operating them by taking out LCM and simplifying it, we get x raised to 3 by 2 upon 3 by 2 minus x raised to 5 by 2 upon 5 by 2 plus c. So final answer I, we get it as 2 by 3 x raised to 3 by 2 minus 2 by 5 x raised to 5 by 2 plus c. 15th one is I is equal to root x 3x square plus 2x plus 3 dx. Root x is expressed as x raised to half, and each of the term of the bracket will be multiplied with x raised to half. So multiplying it, 3 is a constant which is being taken out. Integration of x square and plus half is being done dx. That means we have separately taken integration for all the three terms by multiplying each of the term with x raised to half. For the second term, 2 comes out. Integration of x raised to 1 plus half dx, and the last term is multiplied with x raised to half dx. Now simplifying 2 plus half gives 5 by 2. Still we have not integrated it. We are just simplifying the quotient given. Second one becomes x raised to 3 by 2 after taking the LCM, and the last remains x raised to half. Now integrating by using n plus 1 upon n plus 1. For the first we will get 3x 5 by 2 plus 1 divided by 5 by 2 plus 1 plus 2 x raised to 3 by 2 plus 1 upon 3 by 2 plus 1 plus 3 x raised to half plus 1 divided by half plus 1 plus c. Taking the LCM and solving it, we get 3x raised to 7 by 2 divided by 7 by 2, x raised to 5 by 2 upon 5 by 2, and x raised to 3 by 2 upon 3 by 2 plus c. Taking up the fractions up, 2 into 3 will give 6 by 7, x raised to 7 by 2 plus second term becomes 4 by 5 x raised to 5 by 2. In the third term 3 and 3 gets cancelled, so it becomes 2x raised to 3 by 2 plus c. 16th one is I is equal to integration 2x minus 3 cos x plus e raised to x dx. Now each of the term is having standard integration. So taking separately the integration with all the three terms. Integration of x minus 3 integration of cos x plus integration of e raised to x. Integration of x becomes x square by 2. Cos x integration is sin x. E raised to x integration is e raised to x. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Final integration is x square minus 3x sin x plus e raised to x plus c. Question number 17 is given as I integration 2x square minus 3 sin x plus 5 root x dx. Taking integration separately with each and every term, integration of x square becomes x cube by 3. Integration of sin x becomes minus cos x. Integration of x raised to half becomes x raised to half plus 1 divided by half plus 1 plus c. So the integration is 2 by 3 x cube plus minus minus becomes plus 3 cos x plus it is 3 by 2 and 3 by 2. So 5x raised to 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2 plus c. Operating each one, we'll get the final answer as 2 by 3 x cube plus 3 cos x plus 10 by 3 x raised to 3 by 2 plus c. 18th one is I is equal to integration sec x into the bracket sec x plus 10x dx. Now no multiplication rule in integration, so we need to expand the bracket. Expanding the bracket we get sec x into sec x as sec square x plus sec x into 10x becomes sec x 10x dx. Now each one of these term is having integration, standard integration. So taking integration separately with both, we get integration of sec square x dx plus integration of sec x 10x dx. Sec square integration is 10x. Sec x 10x integration is sec x plus c. So this is how 18th is being integrated. It is trigonometric integrations. Direct integrations are there, so directly place the integrations. 19th one, I is equal to integration sec square x upon cosec square x dx. there is no standard integration of this type of the term. So we'll convert sec square as 1 upon cos square x, and 1 upon cosec square x is sin square x. So we get sin square x upon cos square x as tan square x dx. Now there is no direct integration of tan square x, but the integration of sec square x we have it. Hence this tan square x with the help of identity is converted as integration of sec square x minus 1 dx. Now separately taking the integration, we have integration of sec square x dx minus integration of dx. Sec square integration is 10x and 1 integration is x. So the final answer becomes 10x minus x plus c. 20th one given is I is equal to integration 2 minus 3 sin x divided by cos square x dx. We don't have the division rule in integration, so we need to divide separately both the terms. As 2 is a constant, 2 comes out. Integration of 1 upon cos square x dx minus 3 is a constant which is kept out. Integration of sin x upon cos square x dx. 1 upon cos square x gives sec square x. Separating cos square x as cos x into cos x, and the combination is taken as sin x upon cos x into 1 upon cos x dx. 2 integration sec square x dx remains as it is. Minus 3 integration of sin x upon cos x is 10x. 1 upon cos x is sec x dx. Now we have the standard integration of both the terms. Sec square integration is 10x and 10x sec x integration is sec x. So this is how, by converting it into standard integrations, finally it is integrated. 21st one is an MCQ. It is asked the antiderivative of root x plus 1 upon root x equals. Antiderivative means integration. I is equal to integration root x plus 1 upon root x. Root x is converted as x raised to half and 1 upon root x is converted as x raised to minus 1 by 2 dx. Now separately taking up the integration of both the terms. First term is half plus 1 divided by half plus 1. Second term is x raised to minus half plus 1 divided by minus half plus 1 plus c. Taking the LCM and operating the powers here, we get x raised to 3 by 2 divided by 3 by 2 plus x raised to 1 by 2 divided by 1 by 2 plus c. Taking up the reciprocal and just operating it, 2 by 3 x raised to 3 by 2 plus 2x raised to half plus c is the final integration, and that is option C is the correct answer. 22nd one is, if d by dx fx is equal to 4x cube minus 3 upon x raised to 4 such that f of 2 is equal to 0, then fx is, here we have to calculate the fx part. Now to remove d by dx from this side, if we take the other side d by dx, it becomes integration. So taking up the integration of the other side, we get fx is equal to integration 4x cube minus 3 upon x raised to 4 dx. Now separately integrating both, we get fx is equal to 4 integration x cube dx minus 3 integration x raised to minus 4 dx. X cube integration is x raised to 4 upon 4. X raised to minus 4 integration becomes minus 4 plus 1 divided by minus 4 plus 1 plus c. Operating them, we get here 4 and 4 also gets cancelled. So fx is equal to x raised to 4 minus 3x raised to minus 3 divided by minus 3 plus c. So final fx, by cancelling these 3 and minus makes it plus, we get fx as x raised to 4 plus 1 upon x cube. As x raised to minus 3 is there, it is converted in reciprocal as 1 upon x cube plus c. So this is our fx. But we need to calculate fx when x is 2, the fx value is 0. So when x is 2, f of 2 is 0, that is equal to fx. Keeping in statement number 1, the value of x as 2 and calculating, f of 2 is 0, which is already given here. 2 raised to 4 becomes 16. Wherever x is there, there we are keeping 2 plus 1 upon 8 plus c. Taking LCM, and between 16 and 1 by 8, we get 128 plus 1 divided by 8 plus c. So 128 plus 1 gives 129 by 8. Shifting the other side becomes c is equal to the LCM part gives 128 plus 1 divided by 8, and shifting this 128 plus 1 by 8, that is minus 129 by 8 we will get. So the final fx becomes x raised to 4 plus 1 upon x cube. In the place of c, keeping the value minus 129 by 8, this is the final fx that we get. So as per the requirement, the option A is the correct option. So for the 22nd MCQ, the option is A, and this is one of the very important MCQ.